Stop apologizing for your existence. Welcome to the Hopefulist with me, Wendy McClure. This is where we turn those nasty, negative thoughts into positive and work toward a happy, fulfilled life. Now, let's get started. And you'll have to excuse my voice. I am overcoming a bout of the dreaded COVID. That's right. I have managed to avoid and stay away from it for 3 whole years, but now here it is. I have tested positive, and it sucks. I got to tell you, it's not been fun at all. But I think that I'm coming out on the other side. So hopefully this is the upturn when I'm starting to feel better and get rid of it, because it's been nasty. It is not welcome here. So excuse my voice if I sound a little nasally. I've been doing a lot of sleeping, which has been great for somebody who doesn't sleep great. Having some real quality sleep has been amazing. So that's one good thing about it, I guess. Yeah, we try to see the good in everything. So I've been getting some real good sleep. Obviously, I need it. So talking about the quote of the day, and this is basically the reason why I do this always. The first step to making any major change in your life is always awareness. So that's why I'm digging into all of these limiting beliefs that we have had as Gen X women our entire lives that has caused us to act the way we act, live the way that we do, think the way that we think, so that we can deconstruct them. And we are tearing it down so that we can find our real, true selves and finally be the people that we've always been meant to be, the one that will make us happy, our true selves, the one that was there when we were a little girl, before we got all of these crazy mixed messages put in our heads, and to just be that person who does things the way we want to do them, the things that are going to make us happy. Now, when I talk about this, I don't mean it in a selfish kind of way, but there will be people that don't like it. Don't get me wrong. There will be people who do not like a new, different version of you. And as hard as it is, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, you have to be right with you. You know, we've always put on these personas in front of different people, trying to be the people that we think they want us to be. And even that doesn't work the way that we hope that it will. Because even when we put on these personas, there are still people that don't like us. There are still people who think things about us and say things about us that we don't like. So if that's going to be the case regardless, let's just be ourselves. And that way we can be right with us. Because that's really who it is all about. So I want to talk about the over-apologizer. This has been me my entire life. Stop apologizing for your mere existence. And when you think of yourself as an over-apologizer, you probably think, well, I'm not apologizing for my existence. Yeah, you probably are, and you just don't realize it. You're walking down the street and someone bumps into you, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, really, think about that. Somebody bumps into you, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. So you're basically apologizing for the fact that you were there. And I know that this is so common. Often we apologize for saying how we feel to people. Well, I'm sorry, but I just feel like this. No, you're allowed to feel what you feel, and you are allowed to express that. We spend so much time worried about how other people are going to take what we have to say or what we want to do that we suppress it within ourselves. And that's just not right. We need to be free to do what we want, to say how we feel. And as long as that's not hurting other people, that's okay. Somewhere along the line, we've gotten this signal that what we want doesn't matter. And when we even talk about the fact that what we want, it becomes this thing of being selfish. Well, how dare you say things like that? Who do you think you are? Well, I am Wendy, and this is what I want, and this is who I want to be, and this is who I'm working toward. And it's really just as simple as that. And you want to line up your actions and your words with who you want to be. Now, the problem is, who is it that you want to be? That's when it takes some time to strip away all of these beliefs that have been ingrained in us for so long. So the first thing that you need to do is to pay attention to when you're saying sorry. And I'm pretty sure you're going to do it a whole lot more than you actually think that you do. So pay attention and just notice when you're saying sorry, because it's a lot. And we have to stop apologizing for our mere existence and for having thoughts and expectations and beliefs. So pay attention to that. Are you an overthanker? This is a big one for me. I can't just thank someone one time. I have to thank them 10 times. And the reason that we do this is because you don't feel worthy of having that nice thing done for you. And you want to make sure that you go so far out of your way to let them know how much you appreciate the fact that they're doing this nice thing for you that you border on annoyance. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. It's annoying. It's annoying. So, if you are one of those people like me who are constantly thanking people, just think about when enough is enough. When do you think that enough thank yous are correct? Now, if it's something really big, go ahead, send a note, send a thank you note, send a thank you gift if it's something that's a big deal. But if it's not a huge deal, just say thank you. Once, maybe twice is fine. 5 times, it's gone a little overboard. So these are some of the things that we do because it's ingrained in us to serve others. It's been ingrained in us since we were children. Serve others. Don't worry about yourself. Serve others. Take care of others. Nurture others. And this is what I want to tear down. It's okay to want what you want. It's okay to go after what you want. It doesn't mean that you're slacking as a mother or as a spouse or as a worker. It means that you're being true to yourself. And when you are true to yourself, you feel different. And I can speak on this because I have been on both sides. When you are not sure of who you are constantly questioning everything. You are constantly questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I going in the right direction? Am I, do I seem the way that people think I should seem? There's all of these questions and this doubt constantly. But when you are right with yourself and you know who you are and you know what you want, all of that goes away. It truly does. Because that's not the important thing anymore. The important thing is doing things for you. And again, this doesn't mean that you don't do things for other people. Of course you do. But it means that first and foremost, you take care of yourself. And we have this idea that makes that wanting that and doing that makes us bad people. And that's just not true. If a man were going after what he wanted, full force, whole hog, you would never say that he was selfish. You would say that's what he's supposed to do. But when it's a woman, it's different because women are supposed to be nurturing and taking care of others and all that. We're supposed to be selfless. And I'm just not buying into that anymore. And I'm not going to feel guilty for saying that what I want is important. And I'm not going to feel guilty for saying that what I want is worthy of going after it and doing what I feel is needed to get there. And I'm not talking about trampling on other people, and I'm not talking about throwing other people under the bus. I'm talking about just doing what's right for you and putting yourself first. And this is what's so hard about this work is it all sounds so weird and unnatural and wrong coming out of my mouth that I know there are many of you that are listening that are saying and thinking the same thing. It's just wrong. It sounds wrong. It feels wrong, but it's not. It's the conditioning that we have had our entire lives. We have this one life. We need to be happy. We need to figure out how we want to spend that life. And that's when we get into the analysis paralysis. You know, this is based off your fear of rejection, your fear of doing something that others won't like, or you're afraid to fail. And, you know, when it comes to being afraid of failing, guess what? We all are. We really, truly are. But in order to start something, we have to be willing to fail in order to get things right. You know, nobody wakes up one day and is just automatically good at something. We have to work at it. We have to practice it. And we're going to look stupid. And we're going to look like we don't know what we're doing at times because we don't. A couple of years ago, I had bought a rowboat. It's something that I had wanted to do for the longest time. I bought a rowboat, and when I went to go and row the boat, I was awful at it. I was terrible at it. It kept going in circles. Like I just couldn't get it down. And the problem that I had is where my house is, it's kind of sort of a narrow little waterway. And there's a lot of boats there. And what I was worried about was crashing into someone else's boat. So I had put some thought into maybe going somewhere else, trying to, practice somewhere else. In the end, I sold the rowboat. I decided that wasn't something that I really needed to take on to have a good life. I was okay with not being a rowboater. But then there are other things, like when I first started playing pickleball. I was terrible at first, as most people are when they start something new that they've never done before. And I looked like an idiot a lot. And I still do a lot. But I'm getting better. And I'm learning. And that's how you do it, by failing. And then you figure out, one, in the case of the rowboat, if it's worth it for you to keep going. In my case, it wasn't. But in pickleball, it was worth it for me to keep going. It was worth it for me to keep getting out there and making stupid mistakes and looking like a fool so that I could get better at it. These are the decisions that you have to make when you want to be true to yourself and to do what you want to do in this life. So you have to stop basing your decisions on what others think of you or worry about how they feel. You have to base them on how you feel and where you want to go. That is what it comes down to. And I do have to give you a bit of a warning. There are people who are not going to like this. There are people that may leave your life, that may just ghost you, that you may argue with, that tell you you've changed, to which one of my favorite self-help gurus always says, when someone says you've changed, your response should be, thank you, I've been trying. But people will not like it. And you may lose friends and you may get into fights with family members. But you need to be true to yourself. If people have a problem with you being who you are, then that's their problem, not yours. And although it is sad and it does hurt, at the end of the day, it is more important to be true to you than to be fake for someone else. And I hope that's really, truly what you get out of this whole thing, is when you are being fake to please other people, you will never feel fulfilled or satisfied in your life because you are not being yourself. And who cares if you have a whole bunch of friends if you can't really, truly be yourself around them? Or if they always need you for one thing or another. You get what I'm saying, right? So, if you are an over-apologizer or an overthanker, or you are someone who suffers from analysis paralysis, I want you to take some time to get right with who you are. You need to take some time to be silent with yourself and tap into your intuition. Journal your thoughts. Who do you want to be and why? Journaling is how you get to the heart of these things. When you start putting pen to paper and free writing about these thoughts, they just start coming. And you just keep writing. And journaling has helped me in so many ways in helping to understand things that I would have never understood if I wasn't what am I trying to say? If I hadn't been writing it down. That just the thoughts going on in my head would have never led to what the pen on paper led to. You come up with such different and more deep meanings when you are journaling. You come up with real answers when you are journaling. And that's why it's so important to do it. And I know so many of you don't want to do it because it's scary. It's scary to deep dive into your own life. But it's the only way to get what you truly want. Because you probably don't even know what you truly want right now. Most of us don't. And that's okay. That's why we do this work. That's why we talk about these things. That's why we're breaking down all of those old beliefs and showing you that, yeah, guess what? You are important. You are allowed to do what you want in this life. So the first thing we need to do is to get over this fear that we're being selfish for doing what we want in life. It's not selfish. It is our life. We are the only one that's going to be with us from birth to death. We're the only one we can truly ever count on. And we're the only one that's going to make it the most important thing to realize our own dreams. So of course it's okay. Stop thinking that it's not. Doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. So I want you to stop over-apologizing. I want you to stop over-thanking people. And I mean this when I say this wholeheartedly. When you get right with who you are, this analysis paralysis really just disappears. You no longer have to question all of these things. Do I do this? Do I do that? But you just do it. You just know, and you know that it's right. And if it turns out not the way that you hoped, then you move on to the next step. And you do it over again, but you do it better. And there's such a freeing feeling to know that you're doing what you are meant to do. There's no questions anymore for me. I'm doing what I am meant to do. And like I said, the worst part is some people aren't okay with it. And it's very hurtful and it makes me sad. But I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not so people will like me. I did that for 50 years. I'm not doing it anymore. So I really hope that you take some time to just be a little quiet with yourself. Tap into your intuition to find out what it is that you really, really want and how you go about getting there. And journal your thoughts. And journal your plan. You know, if you can come up quickly with what it is that you want, how will you get there? Journal your plan. See how far that takes you. And then you go to the next step. And then you go to the next step. And we're going to get to all of that eventually here on the podcast. And I'm looking forward to delving into all of this. Because this all basically comes down to your sense of self-worth. And I want you to know that you are worthy. So many of us feel like we aren't. And you are. You feel unworthy because of situations and happenings that went on in your life. And just having me tell you that you are worthy is not going to make you all of a sudden feel worthy. But you are worthy as much as the next person. You know, one person is not more worthy than the other. Just like one person is not better than the other because they have more money or more education or what have you. We are all equal. We are all humans. And we are all worthy of going after our dreams. And we are certainly worthy of being who we truly are. So I hope that's what you take away from this particular episode. If any of this resonated with you today, I hope that you will share it with a friend that you think could benefit from it. I hope that if you haven't yet, will you please leave me a review on the platform that you listen to this through and spread the word. Tell people about the Hopefulist. Tell people about the woman who is busting down these limiting beliefs that we've been, conned into our whole lives so that we can be ourselves. We can strip it all away and become our real, authentic selves. Because that's all we all want, is to be ourselves and to be okay with that. And here's the thing, is once you find who you want to be, even if everyone else is not okay with who you are or who you've become, you're okay with it. And that in itself is worth gold. Trust me, you'll understand when you get there, because I'm there. And nobody can tell me that I'm doing the wrong thing. Because you know what? I won't believe them. I won't believe them. So, with that, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope that you're going to go out there and make things happen. And, of course, be badass. I'm here cheering you on. Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist.
Now, don't you feel good? Make sure you come back next week. See you then.